Hello, Internet. I'm Corion, your witch in residence here on YouTube. And today we're going to be talking about the movie The Gorge. Now, the Gorge is a 2025 science fiction romance action film. Um, the film stars Miles Taylor as Levi Keane and Anya Taylor Joy as Drasa. They're two elite snipers that are assigned to guard opposite sides of a mysterious gorge. Their isolation leads them to form a deep connection, communicated through notes and visual signals. As they confront mutated creatures known as the Hollow Men, they uncover a secret research corporation's involvement in the mutations. The film also does have Sigourney Weaver show up, so worth checking out. The film took place in various locations. They have all kinds of cool places, like they filmed in Norway, they filmed in France. Um, but what you guys really care about is that The Gorge is on Apple TV, and it originally entered streaming on February 14th. Now, when you're watching this, these are the themes I would look out for, okay? It's really about isolation and connection, okay? At its core, The Gorge is about two people, Levi and Drasa. They're stationed on opposite sides of this chasm, right? And they're cut off from the rest of the world. They wind up forming, though, this deep connection despite never really meeting in person for much of the film. They use written notes, signals, and they have all these shared experiences that highlight the human need for companionship and understanding, even in some of the most extreme conditions, right? As their relationship develops, there's a lot of pressure and danger that they're facing. And it kind of talks about how love can appear in the face of adversity, right? It really has that love against all odds theme. Uh, their bond grows as they navigate this terrifying environment, making the love story feel urgent and desperate. And it emphasizes the idea that true connection can blossom even in the harshest conditions. Um, we've also got a little bit of the unseen forces controlling fate, right? At its core, we have a corporate conspiracy behind these monstrous hollow men. The film it touches on things like free will versus control. Their initial belief that they're simply snipers on a mission shifts as they realize they are pawns in a larger, morally questionable experiment, right? The film raises questions about who controls our destiny and whether true freedom is possible in a world dictated by powerful, unseen forces or, people that we only see on the news. The film also kind of gets into science versus nature a little bit. Um, the gorge is symbolic of the collision between nature and science. The hollow men are these monstrous consequences of unchecked human experimentation. And it kind of illustrates the dangers of tampering with natural evolution. The film critiques this concept of like scientific hubris, showcasing how human interference in nature often leads to unintended chaos. We've also got a little bit of survival and morality. Like, it's highly implied that Levi and Dressa did some shady stuff in their history, but then it becomes a question of, do they deserve to live despite not necessarily being the best people, right? To me, one of the big things, though, is the power of communication that comes across. The fact that Levi and Dress cannot communicate verbally for much of the film adds an emotional depth to the relationship. Their silent exchanges, written messages, and visual cues show how connection can transcend words. And to me, this theme reinforces the idea that sometimes understanding and love exists beyond spoken language. And, when I sat down and watched this, I couldn't help but be reminded of the power of words as spellcraft, okay? See, for witches, words hold power, whether spoken, written, or even just thought. Spells, affirmations, and prayers are built on the idea that language shapes reality. Levi and Dressa's written notes and signals act almost like spells in a way, right? Reinforcing their connection and influencing their shared fate. Every message carries intention and energy, strengthening their bond in a way reminiscent of spell work, where focused intent directs that magical outcome. In this case, the power of love. I would also say, like, nonverbal communication, really does feel a lot of times like energy exchange, right? Much of Wicca revolves around the idea of energy flow, which can be felt and understood without words. Levi and Dressa communicate through gestures, signs, and unspoken understanding, mirroring the way some witches might work with intuition, spirit guides, or the elements. Their ability to connect beyond spoken language reflects how, in ritual or magical practice, a witch may feel the essence of energy shifts, be it that as divine messages, a simple tingling on the back of the neck, or ancestral guidance without needing that verbal confirmation. Additionally, in Wicca, symbols are like a visual language, right? They hold deep meaning, acting as conduits for intention. Levi and Dressa's system of signals and written words can be seen as a form of symbolic magic in a way. Their way of shaping the reality through carefully chosen marks and signs. Their communication is sacred in the sense that it holds something larger than themselves, trust, understanding, and love, similar to how symbols in the craft channel, those kind of forces, right? I also feel like, in a way, the silence involved feels like a path to a deeper understanding, right? In craft, we learn that silence can be powerful. The Wiccan Rede itself states to know, to dare, to will, and to keep silent. Silence in magical practice allows for internal reflection, deeper intuition, and protection of this sacred knowledge. In the Gorge, the forced silence between Levi and Dressa makes their eventual communication even more profound. It reflects the idea that true understanding often exists beyond words. One of the big moments in my journey involved when my wife and I were simply lying down on a couch in our room in somebody else's house. And we sat and we just held each other's hands. And it felt like we learned everything we needed to know about each other in those few moments. So I certainly feel that. And that actually kind of gets me to another point here. Many witches believe in like connections from past lives and bonds that can form beyond this life and into the next. And Levi and Dressa's ability to form this deep relationship across this huge divide echoes the idea of like a soulmate or a psychic connection, right? It exists beyond the material. Their longing for each other mirrors how some spiritual practitioners experience that emotional connection with loved ones across huge differences. So to me, the Gorge isn't just about two people trying to communicate. It's about the power of intention, the sacred nature of symbols, and the deep energetic connection between souls. Their message becomes a magical act of reaching beyond the barriers, right? Just like my people seek to connect to these unseen forces and learn those silent things that go beyond words. So, with all that in mind, I highly advise taking a look at The Gorge. It's a fantastic movie, and I'd love to hear your comments on it as you look a little deeper into this pop sci-fi movie. Guys, I want to thank you very, very much. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.